Hey girlfriend, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Lindsey Bush, an online mindset, fitness, and nutrition coach and the creator of the Empowered Method. Each week, we're going to be talking about all things mindset, fitness, and nutrition related, and probably a little bit of mom life too. So it's my hope to provide you with tangible tips that you can apply to your own health and wellness journey. So with that, let's dive in. So today we are going to be talking about comparison. So we've all heard, and I think we all deep down know, we've heard the quote that comparison is the thief of all joy. And I absolutely agree with that. It resonates very deeply with me. There is nothing quite like going through whatever your process is, whatever it is you're working on, whatever goals you're working towards, and you actually feel pretty good about it. And then something kind of sideswipes you and drags you into this comparison pool, and it can totally change the way that you feel about what you're doing and how you feel about yourself. So I felt like this absolutely was something that we all struggle with, and that maybe I could give you some practical tips that will help you, one, understand why it's such a thing, and two, some things that you can actually do to make it a little bit better. So one of the first things that sticks out to me when I think about comparison is that in my mind, comparison is a losing battle no matter what. So knowing that, I have consciously made the decision that comparison is not a game, or it's not a battle that I am willing to engage in. I am no longer willing to invest my energy in the comparison game. So that deciding that straight away is a great strategy. It's a great place to start, because here's the thing. No matter how good you are at something, or how well you are doing, or how much progress you've made towards your goals, there will always be someone doing it better, or having more, or making more progress. Always. So when you think about it like that, it kind of pulls you into reality to go, why am I spending so much energy comparing myself to so-and-so that I saw on social media, for example, or XYZ mom that I saw at the soccer fields? Because if you're comparing yourself to them, and let's say that it drives you in some way to push yourself harder, which is unlikely, because typically what happens is we freeze and then we just kind of stop doing the work because we're like, oh, what's the point? We get into compare and despair mode, which is what I would call and identify that as. But so let's say that you overcome that initial comparison, and you can overcome that, and you get to a point where you're feeling better. Well, what about the next person? Because there's always going to be someone else. There's, like, take me for example. Do you know how many people there are that do what I do in the world? And do you know how many people that do what I do are on Instagram and they have so many more followers than me and all of these things? If I allowed that fact to get in my head on a daily basis, I would literally be crippled into sitting in like a balled up position, rocking back and forth in my closet. And that's a fact. I had a conversation with a friend in the business. She does the exact same thing that I do a couple weeks ago, and she kept mentioning, are you familiar with what so-and-so is doing? Really big name fitness influencer. And it came up several times, or what their app looks like. And I just kept, in the moment, I felt kind of silly because I kept saying, no, yeah, I've heard of her, but I don't really know what she's doing, because I put my blinders on. If I'm over here looking at what she's doing or worried about what they're doing, all it's going to do is make me feel less than with what I'm doing. And so I don't engage in that. And as the conversation has unfolded, it has become very clear that it is instances like that absolutely hold people back from their full potential. So that is such a waste of energy to engage in that behavior. Because again, like I said, there's always going to be someone doing it better, having more, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The really slippery slope that I think we find ourselves in right now is that you used to only be able to compare yourself to the people that you saw on a daily basis in your life. Okay, so think about that. Maybe someone that you saw at work, or in your neighborhood, or at a kid's activity, or whatever the case may be. Well, oh my, how times have changed, right? One, some of those people we're not even seeing right now. Two, we're seeing a whole lot more of people on social media. And so it creates this whole new space in which to scroll and compare. And honestly, you begin to do it subconsciously. You might start seeing, homes that are decorated prettier than yours, or they're bigger than yours, or whatever. Well, normally you would only see glimpses of that here and there in your everyday life, but it's thrust in front of your face on social media. And so I think that a really practical tip, really easy, low-hanging fruit, is to do a social media audit. Unfollow any accounts that make you feel less than, that get you into that comparison game. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, because there is a flip side of that coin. So, if you find yourself doom scrolling and feeling badly about where you are in your life or your journey because of particular accounts, absolutely unfollow them. It doesn't mean that you don't like the person. It doesn't mean that you don't think that their content is great. It simply means that it's not serving you from a mental, a mindset perspective. So there's nothing wrong with doing that, because social media has made the comparison game easier than ever before. And that's why I think it is so important for people, like you see me show up very messy. I will show you the good, the bad, and the ugly, but even I don't show you all of the ugly, because there's some things that aren't appropriate for social media, or might involve people in my life that choose not to have a presence on social media. So what I'm saying without saying it is, you're not going to see me show up on social media and talk about a big fight that I had with my husband. He's very private, and so while he might come on my social media from time to time for fun, that's not his thing. And so out of respect for him, I'm not going to have those discussions, while I am fine to share about them, because I think that we are remiss to believe that people in long marriages don't fight is, that's crazy. And I think that it's important to show that no one has this perfect life. Out of respect for him, I'm not going to come on and talk about that. So again, you can see how, okay, yes, I am candid and I share like the ugly and the hard things that I've been through, especially with my pregnancy, our NICU experience, and Blakely's burn. Those are things right off the top of my head. I don't like clean up my house before I jump on and show you something in my kitchen. But there are people that do, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what makes them feel good. You know me, I'm very much a do you boo kind of girl. But it makes it very difficult, because you're basically looking at someone's life constantly through rose-colored glasses, or whatever filter they have chosen to apply, or that how they want you to see it. And I truly believe that people don't do this on purpose. It's not like, oh, look at me and how perfect I am. There are other things behind it, but it can be very difficult if you find yourself getting caught up in the comparison game, because you're seeing a little square, and there's all this stuff, like you can't see what's going on around me. I could have a huge holy hot mess over here and on the other side of this camera, but you can't see that, right? So you have to remember not only what filter is being applied. I say filter in quotations, I don't mean like an actual filter, but sometimes there are filters. So what filter is being put on what you're seeing, and then what are you not seeing that's going on the outside of this? And again, to give you a really practical example, when we were going through things, and I can say this here, it's not on social media, this is more of a private space. When we were going through everything with Blakely, it was incredibly difficult, and it was very difficult for Sam and I to navigate in our relationship. Are we fine? Absolutely. Did we have rocky days? Absolutely. Did we have hard, frustrated conversations with one another? Yeah, we sure did. But you didn't see that, and now I'm telling you why. Because I think it gives you a real way to go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because let me give you a practical way to apply this for many of you. You might be seeing someone lose weight very quickly or have results very quickly. What you don't know is that person's backstory. What you don't know is what was their starting point. At what point in their journey are you seeing? Because you're only seeing a very small portion. So that's what I mean in all of this. So one of the things that I want to talk about is what you can do instead. When you see someone, this is the other thing I wanted to bring up about social media. When you see someone and you begin to compare yourself to them, maybe you see a before and after transformation photo, or you see someone that lost weight in a time period that you wish you were losing weight in, like speed-wise, for example. Look at that and go, well, if it's possible for her, that means it's possible for me too. Now, I caveat that by saying, then you can't then compare and get upset if it doesn't happen on the same trajectory or the same timeline, because again, you don't know what factors she has going on in her life compared to the factors that you have going on in your life. But it's more of a general statement to say, one person's success is simply a picture to you and proof to you that what you want and what your goals are and what you're working towards is possible. So let me give you an example not related to weight loss or fitness that might help you understand. So for me, there is a local business owner that is heavily involved in network marketing. Now, I'm not involved in network marketing currently, but she is a multimillionaire from network marketing. We went to the same high school. I see her success and I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. Because if she can do it, that means it's possible for me too. That's what I mean by that. And again, just remember, you don't know her starting point. I can promise you the results that you're seeing, the things that you're wanting to accomplish, and you're seeing other people accomplish it. Just remember, nothing in life comes without work. It's not, in almost every single scenario, someone had to work really hard to get where they are. So don't let that filter fool you, okay? Water your own grass, right? So don't worry about what your neighbor's lawn looks like, or what, Karen from the soccer field, what her lawn looks like. Water your grass. And what I mean by that is do the things you know you need to be doing to take care of yourself, to run your race, to be the most successful that you can be. Because the other thing that I see happen is sometimes people attach to goals that were never meant for them. So they start to run a race or chase down a goal that was never really their goal. So they struggle towards it. And that can be anything, whether that is, wanting to become a runner because you saw me on my running journey. So you're like, well, she did it, maybe I should try it. But you never took the time to really step back and go, is that truly what I want to do? So you set out to accomplish the same thing and you struggle and you're like, but why can she do it and I can't? Well, that goal was never meant for you. So that's a whole different conversation in terms of getting really connected to what your goals are. But know that absolutely does happen. And that's why it's really, really important to be super in tune with you and what you're after and what resonates with you and your desires and your goals within your life, without looking around and seeing like, oh, so-and-so on Instagram has a G-Wagon, so that means I should want a G-Wagon too. So then you start working towards that, and then you realize that's actually not even truly what's in alignment for you or what's going to make you happy or feel fulfilled, for example. And this quote, ending this with this quote, and I can't think of anything better, is that looking around only slows you down, right? So imagine we're in a race. We're at the starting line. The bell sounds, we're off. We're running. And you turn around to look to see where the other runners are. Doing that action slows you down. Had you kept your sights forward on your goals and focused on you only, you'd be going faster. So remember that the next time that you fall into the comparison trap, is that looking around only slows you down. If you found this at all helpful, if anything stuck with you, please share this with a friend. I would appreciate it so very much, and I look forward to talking to you on the next one.